So Spider-1 has a new movie. So for those of you who do not know who Spider-1 is, he is the lead singer of a group called Power Man 5000 that I grew up with in high school. He is also the brother of Rob Zombie. And he has made 3 previous films that we have watched and reviewed on this channel, starting with Allegoria.
Love.
Moving into Bury the Bride. Hated,
unfortunately. Did not like that.
God, that was bad. I think if I'm remembering correctly, I think the problem with that one is that's the one he didn't write. He just directed it. If I was looking at that today and I was like, whoa, he wrote every other one, he just didn't write that one. That would actually make sense.
And then the other one was Little Bites.
Yeah, from last year, which we really did like.
And now this one.
Now we got this, Big Baby.
Big Baby.
So Big Baby is about a horror screenplay writer, and he just came off of a film called The Blackest Moon or The Darkest Moon. It's The Blackest Moon.
I think it's The Darkest.
Darkest
I don't remember.
Moon?
Maybe it is
one of those.
I don't remember now.
It doesn't really matter.
We watched this a few movies ago.
Yeah, it's all right. And it is not being well received. And this is getting to him. He's kind of being a big baby about it. And so he starts wanting to write a new script, one that's going to blow the socks off of critics, and he's going to finally get the respect that he deserves. And he comes up with this concept of a slasher villain called Big Baby. And unfortunately, his writing becomes a little too real. So, yeah, I mean, that trope is kind of a classic one, right? A lot of writers, when you write characters long enough or enough, you start to kind of make them real in your head. And then I think there's that that inclination of like taking it to that next step of like, they are real, right? I've created life. I've created real characters. And yeah, as a writer, I can, tell you, and I'm sure you understand, you've written plenty as well, that when you get kind of very in intimate detail with your characters and you create these backstories and you create this life to them, and you have to kill them, especially when you're writing horror movies, you got to kill them horribly.
Sure.
A lot of the times. You do kind of feel like a bastard. You do feel like, the puppet master god, and you're punishing these fully realized characters in your head.
Well, and also I know a lot of writers have this experience where it's like they're not the ones they don't feel like they're creating anything. Like it feels like you're discovering somebody or something that already exists, which is very interesting. And I think this can happen even with people when they aren't like the ones creating, like what they're just watching movies and shows or reading, where like our brains can't fully distinguish between like a fictional character's pain and a real person's pain. So like when you have a reaction to a film, like you're having a real emotional response. It's not a fake one. Like just because what you're watching is fictional, like your body still reacts to things. It's just important that you know that it's not real, of course. But I even though this is something that's done a lot, I did really like this film, and I like that concept in general. I think it's a fun one to play around with for just especially horror movies, I guess I would say. I think it has a lot of potential, like as a plot device, I suppose. But I liked this. I really liked the design of the slasher in this. The mask is very cool, and I thought it was actually pretty scary looking. Yeah. So I was a big fan of that. And I also, there's this like, this isn't really a spoiler, but there's like a bit, I suppose, with these like review podcasters, like horror movie reviewers, that I really like. And I really liked some of the kind of meta commentary of the character, like the screenwriter and his frustration with not being, like, his work not being understood by critics who don't make anything themselves but just sit there and critique films, because we talk about this all the time, like, privately. We've mentioned it on the channel, but like we privately talk about it, where we're always like, man, like, we're just sitting here like criticizing somebody else's, like, you know, art, and we try really hard to be very fair and not negative, and not at all like the podcasters in this, like, these are like total assholes and everything, but we're always like really self-aware, and like when we have to give reviews where we're like, we didn't like a film and this is why, I think both of us kind of feel a little bit like, you know, like mildly like assholes for it, because it's like, we didn't make it, like, you know, it's still amazing that it got made even if it didn't work for us. But regardless, I just really liked that part of the script and that part of the story in the beginning, the reaction of the screenwriter to other people perceiving his work, and how just all of that I thought was really fun. But yeah, what did you think?
I liked it. I think that it's my least favorite of his films that I like.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It's definitely nothing like Bury the Bride. I still think that's by far his worst film.
Yeah.
But I like Allegoria, and I like Little Bites more than this one. I think where the movie doesn't work for me is in the creation side of our main character. So in the movie, our character is trying to talk about, and this might be kind of like an inside joke or like jab at his character, which is possible, but he's a tad pretentious about his pedigree with the genre. The way he kind of talks down about others when they speak about the genre, and then how he thinks of himself. And, you know, when his wife suggests him writing a slasher movie, he has this kind of negative reaction to it, like it's beneath him. And he then, you know, gets excited about the project and is like, oh, I could elevate this, right? But then when we're seeing the writing process happen, where he's creating his narrative, where he's creating his characters, there's literally nothing to it at all. And it's just like the most bare bones, basic slasher setups imaginable. I mean, nothing even remotely resembling like creative or unique, right? It's all just like something. If I grabbed a random person off the street and was like, have you ever seen a movie before? Have you ever heard of horror? And they're like, oh, maybe, kind of. Yeah, I kind of know what those are. And I'm like, explain like how a slasher scene would play out. And they'd be like, oh, you know, they'd say a few words and that would be it. That's fucking the scene that he would write. And I'd be like, that's supposed to be your elevated fucking horror? You couldn't even put 2 seconds of thought into something that made it creative and interesting? Because I think that would have helped the film. I think that would have helped not only his credibility and my likability towards the guy as a writer, and being like, wow, this guy, you know, does have some kind of talent. And it sucks what's happening to him in the movie, but I want to see how this plays out. But the big baby stuff, and when he's writing it, just left so much to be desired to me, because I'm just sitting there and it's just like these basic setups and then people getting killed. And unfortunately, a good amount of the early kills are either off-screen or are pretty lame and tame. And then once we get closer to the end, there's some better gore. Nothing like super memorable or anything, but much better gore towards the end. And speaking of gore, we do have a couple bigger cameos from Terrifier actors in this. So definitely some connections to the Terrifier franchise if you're a Terrifier fan or a Spider-1 fan. I think it's worth your time. I think that if you're a fan of Little Bites and you're a fan of Allegoria, you should check this out.
Yeah, I do too, for sure. I think you should check it out.
But I
if
just,
you
I
like
don't know.
those.
I was a little underwhelmed with the concept and how it was executed.
Yeah, I hear you. I think that comment, or I think that like the elevated thing, is supposed to be a bit of like well, it's hard to talk about without spoilers, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It didn't bother me as much as it bothered you, I suppose. But I see what you mean, and I think that would have been cool though, like what you were wanting to see from it. But yeah, I think that this is one to check out though. Regardless, I think it's it's a pretty fun, like overall a good slasher.
I just don't think it's the way they incorporate him writing the script and how it like bleeds into his life. I don't think that was fully thought through and realized when they started creating this. I think that they had an idea and they kind of just ran with it because it felt right in the moment of, I'm sure, people shitting on something like Bury the Bride or somebody, something. He wrote this movie because we shit on Bury the Bride.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, those are those motherfuckers right there. They're the reason I wrote this film.
Yeah.
They hated Bury the Bride so much. I did, but we're also fair, and we're not assholes, and we don't tell people to kill themselves because they made bad films like what happens in this, which is just fucking insane. I don't know why anyone takes film that seriously. And I love film as much as any person on this planet, but Jesus Christ, chill out. Unfortunately, negativity gets clicks, boys and girls.
It does.
And we, as a channel, have struggled for years because we remain positive, and that's just the truth of the matter. But I will always stick to my guns and be a beacon of hope and light in this genre. But I'm also not going to ever sugarcoat shit. But there's no reason to be a dick about it. It's nothing personal. Like for me, some people act like they've been personally attacked when they see a bad movie, or like, you wasted my time. I only get this many hours in a lifetime, and you stole them from me.
Yeah, but it's like you chose to sit down and watch the movie, so.
Or the assholes who review movies who they didn't even finish it. They're like 20 minutes in, and then they go blast it.
Oh, crazy! Yeah.
And they're like, "Fuck this movie."
We never do that. If we don't finish a movie, we just don't review it.
Correct.
Like,
ever.
Why would we even try?
Yeah.
We would talk about it like with people maybe, like, and be like, yeah, we didn't finish it, we hated that or whatever.
Yeah.
But not to give like a professional review or whatever this is, but yeah. I don't know. I get what you're saying. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I still think people should check it out.
Yeah, if you're a fan of
Make
Spider
their
One's
own
work.
opinion. I think that the design, like the mask and stuff, will probably be the most memorable thing from the film.
It's still got that very indie feel to it. There's no polish on his films. It's just very rough and independent feeling.
Which we like. We like that vibe.
And as you said, Chrissy Fox, who is in this as the writer's wife, she has been a main character in all of his films. She's becoming the freaking Sherry Moon zombie of Spider-One's films. I don't think they are in a relationship, but they might be, because that seems to be what's happening right now. Mike Flanagan with Kate Siegel. And,
I personally
horror directors are like, you're sleeping with me, you're in this film every time. No, I don't know. They're probably not dating.
No, but I have literally no problem with directors and actors like working together.
Yeah.
I feel like when people get weird about that, I'm like, that's
like
their thing.
Together,
like they like working together. They feel like and like, I don't know. That literally never bothers me because so many directors outside of horror do it too. There's so many directors that are like, I always work with this person. Like if I'm making
but they're
a
not
film,
married to them.
No, but I mean, but even like, well, Mike Flanagan is a good example because he has like a group of actors that he's not married to all of them that he works with regularly.
Yeah.
So anyway, it totally doesn't bother me.
They're having orgies behind the scenes.
Probably not.
Anyway, yeah. If you didn't like his other films, I don't think this one's gonna win you over. But I guess there's a movie that reminded me of this. What was that movie called? Where the guy's like a comic book artist and it's coming to life, like the history of violence. No, that's fucking David Cronenberg.
I don't know what movie you're talking
ah,
about. So
maybe with violence in the title or something. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. I'll look for it and throw it in the comments below. But yeah, I mean, I think it's good. It's a one-time watch for me, but I liked it.
Yeah.
That's that.
That's that.
All right. We weren't too mean. So don't send Big Baby after us, okay? That's not fair. I feel like I'm very fair to films, unless it was Death House. That's the only review where I was probably like those guys in my review. I was fucking brutal to that film, but it deserved every bit of it.
Yeah, I've never been. I don't think I've been like that in any.
Find
movies.
one. Oh, I don't know, man.
I know,
You're pretty
like,
harsh on Devin. And Strangers Chapter 1.
Yeah, but not like that's. I don't know. I'm not like you said. Not personally attacking, just being like didn't like this, and here's why.
She docks the filmmakers.
No, I didn't. All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.